Hello, welcome to In the Press Box. I'm Lloyd Jones, sports editor here for the Conway Daily Sun. Today, I've got a special guest and someone I've wanted to be on the show for the longest time. I'm joined today by Grace Castonguay, U.S. Senior Biathlon Team member. Let's hear it. We got a nice ring there, Grace. Got a nice ring.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Super pumped to have you here. And it's been just like a whirlwind year for you, kid.
Yeah, it was a year full of a lot of ups and downs, a lot of world travel, and finished off with some super exciting news this spring.
Yeah, I can't even imagine being a collegiate student, senior year of college, working on your degree, trying to finish things up, and competing at a world-class level, going all over the world. We should have brought your passport in today. I'd love to see what your passport looks like.
We've got some good stamps.
We got some good stamps. So, big news came last week, and it came by email. I'm kind of surprised like you didn't get a phone call or something.
Yeah, it was pretty astonishing. So I knew national team namings were going to be coming about.
Had a little hunch.
The next few weeks, and deep down, I really was hoping that maybe I could squeak onto the B team by discretion. But I was trying to keep my expectations pretty low. Didn't want to get my hopes up.
Only 12 spots, right? Four females and 8 men.
And you never know really how many spots they're going to do. It's kind of just year to year. So.
And they created a developmental team too, so
exactly.
I didn't know whether you might be on that or where you would be. So
yeah, everything was kind of up in the air, but deep down I was really hoping. But I was sitting in the car actually, and my friend Bjorn Westervelt, who's also on the national team and skis at University of Vermont, so we see each other a lot just in the Vermont area and ski circuit. He texted me congrats, and I was actually just about to go get groceries, but I stopped at what I was doing. And I go, what are you talking about? And he says, check your email.
No one ever gets congratulated for going shopping.
Exactly. So I go into my email, and I see an email from Lowell Bailey, who's our director of high performance.
And title just says, don't open until...
until you're not driving to go get groceries.
Yeah, please pull over now.
Yeah. And I open the email, and I scroll down just enough to see national team, B team, Grace Castonguay, and then I just start hyperventilating.
Oh my.
And I hyperventilated for about 5 minutes.
Did you really?
And then the first thing I did was call my mom.
Yeah, your first coach. You gotta let her know.
First coach, and I'm crying and I'm hyperventilating, and she's like, "What happened? What's wrong? Did you get in a car accident?" And I go, "No, it's happy tears. Mom, I made the national team." And she's like, "Oh my goodness." So
and I think we found out like 3 minutes later because we got an email or Facebook post where she shared those.
Yeah, and then I got out of the car like 10 minutes later after I'd finished hyperventilating, and my whole body was just like shaking jello just from all the adrenaline.
Did you shop or did you?
I did go to the grocery store, but I was texting and making calls while I was grocery shopping the whole time, and like letting my family and friends know, close friends know, like I got really exciting news.
Yeah. Do you have any of the 12 folks selected? Sean Doherty, another Kennedy Eagle. So 2 Eagles on the team out of 12. That's pretty darn rare.
Yeah, the Mount Washington Valley is definitely the place to come if you want to fast track your way to U.S. Biathlon team.
It sure seems that way. And do you know a number of your fellow teammates?
Yeah, I've gotten to know a lot of them really well over the last 2 years, competing on IBU Cup and World Cup. And I'm really excited because it's just a great group of people that are all super dedicated to working hard. So it's going to be a really exciting, fun training year coming up.
And when do you start training year? Or you're probably already training?
Yeah.
You never stop. So
I took the month of April off to reset the body, and then I've actually started training this week. And then next week I'm off to Bend, Oregon for our first national team training camp, which will be for 2 weeks.
Will you be on snow? Will you really? Oh my God.
Yeah. Mount Bachelor Nordic Center has snow up till like the end of May. So it's really a great time because we're on our skis, but it's sunny.
Yeah, these are the skis. I mean, just, are they heavy?
Yeah.
Not, oh my gosh, they're incredibly light.
Gotta save pounds where you can, because this thing is not light.
Yeah, hold that up and let people see. This is the official rifle. This is Grace's gun. I mean, rifle. And it weighs 8 pounds. I mean, I'm blown away by how heavy it is. Yeah,
so 8 pounds is regulation, and same weight for men and women.
Is this where you put your...
Yeah, these are the magazines. Here's the trigger, really cool special bolt. But yeah, this is a Norwegian stock. I had
Is it?
a really nice guy named Vegard in Norway make this.
Oh, and you lock in with your eyesight? And,
Yep, right here.
And you're ambidextrous? Or how do I describe this?
Cross dominant.
Cross dominant?
Yes.
Explain cross dominant to people.
So I am right-handed, but I am left eye dominant, which typically people are right-handed, right eye dominant,
Yeah.
or left-handed, left eye dominant. And so when I started biathlon, they tried to get me to use a righty rifle, use my right hand, and I couldn't see anything because I have astigmatism in my right eye.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, what is it? This can't be fun. And then somebody did the eye dominance test with me, realized I was left eye dominant, shot with a lefty rifle, and I was like, oh, this is a lot more fun when you can see the target.
But then did you have to learn how to shoot left-handed?
Yeah, so I'm not left-handed, but
No.
I had to learn how to use my left pointer finger as my trigger finger.
That's got to be quite a bit to learn.
It was a little bit of a learning curve, but just as using a rifle with my right hand would have been a learning curve, so it was good to do it for the first time without having much of a base built with my right hand first.
And the incredible part about the Grace Castonguay story when they make the movie is that you've only been doing this for a little over 5 years, if that. I mean,
This will be my 5th winter of skiing and my
third,
maybe 4th winter of biathlon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not been a faster track, I don't think, Grace. My goodness.
It's been such a whirlwind.
I think it's because you're such a great natural athlete and you're so diverse. I mean, you play so many different sports, soccer to run. I mean, you were going to be a collegiate runner, I think, at one point. So
that was So my big sport was cross country running. I really wanted to go run for a college, but when my brother started high school, he had been skiing for a couple years before me, and I had absolutely no interest in Nordic skiing.
And you guys were living down on the seacoast, down in Durham area?
Yeah, we were living in southern New Hampshire, went to Oyster River High School, and I watched Theo ski for a couple years, and I was like, no thank you, I have no interest in that. It looks hard, and it looks silly.
Yeah.
No thanks.
And cold.
And cold, I know. And you're running around in like little lycra spandex.
Yeah.
And like, where is the appeal? But Theo started his freshman year of high school at Oyster River, and there was no Nordic ski team, but he really wanted to compete. So
For Oyster River.
For Oyster River. So my mom actually became the Oyster River Nordic ski coach.
Your mom, Lynn, she's phenomenal.
Yeah, no, she really took charge on it, and despite not having a ton of Nordic ski experience herself and never doing it competitively, she became the coach, and so Theo was actually able to do the same races that the Kennett High School race.
And Theo was
doing.
darn good.
Yeah, he really was. And I finished my indoor track season a little bit early, and begrudgingly, after a lot of convincing from my mom, I decided, why not? Like, I'll try skiing because I'm going to be going to Theo's races anyway to watch. And this is just another thing to add to the college resume.
Look good on it, yeah.
So I learned how to ski and then 2 weeks later entered my first ski race.
That just doesn't seem possible.
Well, it wasn't pretty.
It wasn't pretty?
I looked like Bambi on ice skates.
Did you really?
Yeah, but the most important...
Was it a classical or was it
It was a skate race.
Oh my gosh.
Which was even harder, I thought, yeah. But the thing that I remember most importantly was I finished that race, and we have a photo that actually commemorates the moment, and I just had the biggest smile on my face because in all of my years of competing through cross country, soccer, swim team, I had never had so much fun competing in sport, and
really,
I just was like, sign me up for more. I want to do it again. Let's go.
I think your cross country background probably gave you the stamina to do it, which is a big plus.
Yeah. Definitely.
And your competitive juices from being a being a multi-sport athlete
big
probably helped.
competitive spirit, but I had a lot of learning to go with just the technical side of skiing because it is so niche. And then after that, we decided to make the full-time move to the Mount Washington Valley.
So glad you did.
Yeah. And then the following year, I joined the Kennett Nordic ski team, had a amazing time.
After a phenomenal cross-country season in the fall, you ran.
Had a lot of fun with cross-country, went into the Nordic ski season. Steve Vosberg was the coach at the time, great guy. had a lot of fun with my teammates, and the cherry on top was we won the state
Yeah,
championships
my goodness.
right before COVID hit.
Oh my gosh, COVID. I mean, and throwing COVID in all this. I mean, geez, I don't know how you did it. I mean, COVID, in some respect, might have helped because you allowed you to be kind of remote and study from home and train on your own? Or?
Yeah, I think COVID was actually a huge silver lining for me because it didn't really, I had decided to go to the University of Vermont.
And you were going to ski for them? No?
Wasn't gonna, well, at that point, I was definitely not good enough to ski for them. I really loved it, but I just wasn't at that level that I needed to be in, especially in the East. It's a really competitive division for the high schoolers. So I decided that I was going to go to UVM. And at that time, too, I didn't even know if I wanted to ski collegiately because I got my acceptance letter back in November of my senior year. So, but I think COVID was definitely a silver lining because it didn't make a whole lot of sense to go be in person because it was just a completely different college experience. So I decided to spend that year at home doing school online, remote, and I just got to train. And the beauty of living in Jackson is that I have so many trails at my fingertips. So I remember I'd have my Zoom class at 9 a.m. and then I'd go hit the trails at noon and then come back for class. And it was just a really great year of kind of training, and I did it to do something. It was a great way to pass the time during COVID. And
you really have to be self-motivated though, don't you? I mean,
definitely.
Yeah. Just there's no one to push you, or other than your mom, maybe.
Yeah. No, it was a big moment for self-motivation, and I also met a couple of fellow college skiers who were living in the Jackson area at that time, and that was really great. I started getting in touch more with the Nordic ski community and how wonderful the people in it are, and making those connections actually would ultimately lead me to wanting to ski collegiately the following year.
Which still hadn't picked up a rifle yet,
Still hadn't picked up the rifle yet.
Oh my gosh.
But
I mean, it's just phenomenal. So we're gonna switch into a little video now, just let people see where we've gone to. I mean, this video is pretty darn phenomenal, folks. I mean, if you want to see what biathlon is, join us for 2 minutes, and we're gonna have Grace take us through it, give us a little color commentary.
Yeah.
I think you were competing in World Cup.
Yeah, maybe. I think some of the videos are.
Yeah, I think it's a World Cup video. Are we in Norway?
This is Lenzerheide, Switzerland.
Switzerland. Oh,
and this was at Open European Championships.
Was it really?
Yes.
Big deal.
Last year. This was my first Open European Championship.
Was it really? And just look, staggered, is this the way they typically start?
So this race was actually the mixed relay. So we had 2 women, and then 2 women would ski, and then we'd tag off to 2 men. So I was actually the scramble leg for this relay, which was really exciting. It meant that I get to go out in the mass start format. So I'm going head to head with all these European skiers. And it was really exciting because everyone's screaming and the cowbells ringing.
I mean,
and
it's
I'm just thinking to myself,
a huge sport in Europe, isn't it? I mean,
huge, yeah.
Thousands upon tens of thousands.
Like, the best way I can describe it is that the Super Bowl in America gets 30 million views, and a normal weekend race, not even world championships, for biathlon in Europe gets 80 million views.
Oh my gosh.
It's actually the second biggest sport in Europe, and it's only second to soccer. So #1 winter sport in Europe.
My gosh.
Yeah.
And it's like 5K probably?
This race I think was
2.5 maybe?
6K.
6K.
Yeah, 6K total. So I was doing
2 rounds of shooting?
2 rounds of shooting, 3 loops, 2K each, and then I tagged off to my female teammate, Amanda Kautzer, for this race.
Oh my God.
And then she was going to tag off to the next male skier on our relay team.
I mean, it's just phenomenal, Grace. I mean, I don't know how you do it, how you get your pulse rate down enough to hold a rifle. I mean, I don't know how in the world you guys do it. You're just in the very best of the athletic world. I don't think a basketball player couldn't get their heart rate down that quick to do that.
Yeah, well, the key thing is, like, my heart rate stays pretty high up when I'm competing, but it's mostly about timing your shots in between your breaths. So my heart rate will be up to like 180 beats per minute while I'm shooting, but you just have to time that perfect moment between breaths where you're like, okay, I can take the shot.
I mean, you're almost 20 seconds, you're gone if you're try to be quicker.
Yeah, and you're trying to be fast about it too. Fast, precise.
And you got to do it from a prone position where you're laying down and shooting, and then there's a standing, and they're different targets. People may not realize that they're different targets. Is it the standing target that's the tinier of the two?
So the standing target is about the size of a small dinner plate, or a CD.
Oh, CD, that's
CD,
perfect.
yep. And then the prone
There's 5
target,
of them, right?
Yep, 5. So you shoot 5, and then for each target you miss, you have to do a penalty lap.
About 200 meters, is it?
150 meters.
150 meters.
Yep. And then for prone, when we're laying down, that is the size of an Oreo.
Oh my gosh.
And it looks the same to the viewer's eyes because it keeps the same black background.
Yeah.
A small black plate comes down, and then only the target will only turn white when you hit the very center of it. So I can't even see the Oreo. I just know, gotta hit the center of that CD.
And it's 150 meters away.
50 meters away.
50 meters away, yeah.
50 meters away on the range, 150-meter penalty loops.
Oh my God.
And a penalty loop takes about 25 to 30 seconds, so you definitely want to hit your targets.
Yeah, and I mean, you're dealing with all the variables of Mother Nature. It could be snowing, windy. I mean, how do you scope in? Are you able to scope in with your rifle? And
yeah, so at the beginning of every competition, there's a zeroing period open to all athletes. And we go and we zero our rifle because these are iron sights, and we adjust for, if the wind's blowing really hard from the left, we'll take some clicks right to kind of counterbalance it. And then during the race, sometimes a gust will come in, and you have to pay attention to the wind flags and see, okay, the wind's blowing a lot harder than it was when I zeroed. I need to take a couple more clicks to counterbalance how much this wind is affecting me.
Are you stronger from the prone or from the standing? Or are you pretty good at both?
In practice, same. Last year, standing was my Achilles heel, so prone was definitely my better discipline this past year. But I really enjoy standing because it's just kind of fun, shooting off the hip, going fast. Oh,
and here we go. This is prone at an event.
Yeah, here's prone. So you can see also that because I'm lefty, I'm facing an opposite direction of
that's right.
the girl next to me. So that's always something that kind of confuses people.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I come in, you see my back for a lot of the videos.
Yeah.
Whereas other people are shooting righty because that's more common. And here's standing. Yep.
Yeah, standing. And there's not a waste. It's not like you stop and get a drink of water, right?
No. Sometimes for our longer races, because we'll do up to 15K.
Yeah.
We get feeds, so our coaches will be running alongside the trails with us, and they'll give us a bottle of electrolytes. Yeah, so this was Winter Nationals this year, and because you can see I'm not wearing a U.S. suit, I'm wearing a Slovakian suit.
I was going to say, who are you representing?
Because one of the fun traditions that we do at the end of the race season internationally is we trade with other countries.
Do you really?
I traded with a Slovakian
Good
athlete this year, so
keepsake.
that was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope you kept like your first jersey from making the team.
Definitely.
Oh my gosh, got to put that on your wall of fame.
Definitely.
So, when was the first time we picked up a rifle?
So the first time I picked up the rifle...
You didn't go moose hunting with your dad or anything? Or?
Well, the first time I picked up a rifle was... I had been exposed to rifles pretty young, so I knew the basics of it, but I'd never shot a precision rifle quite like the On-Shoots, which is a 22 long rifle. But again, one of the silver linings of COVID was I wasn't tied down to a in-person college schedule, so I actually went with Theo to Utah in the fall for Shoots and Ski Festival.
Oh yeah.
And I was just skiing around, and Theo was going out there to do some biathlon work with the Soldier Hollow team, and I ran into Zach Hall.
Yeah. I had circled him. I said, that's a name I got to bring up.
Yes, Zach Hall. He's the former coach of Soldier Hollow's biathlon team and was a national team member himself back in the day. And he saw me and he said, "You want to try shooting the rifle?" And I actually had tried shooting the rifle at a camp like 2 months prior, but we had been shooting with a right eye the rifle, and I was like, no, that's not fun. But I figured, okay, I'm here in Utah, something to do. Like I'll go to a biathlon practice.
Yeah.
And Zach was actually the one who realized that I'm left eye dominant, and something about the way that he explained shooting to me
made sense.
It made sense, and it really made me fall in love with it because it is such a meditative sport. Despite all the chaos that's going on, accounting for the wind and who's next to you and what place you're in, and your heart rate's beating like crazy. It was so meditative because it really focuses on being present on your mat, and you have to block out all these outside distractions.
So well said.
Coming from, my competitor is on the mat next to me, and oh my
so
God,
close.
she's hit 5 targets, and I have to hit all my 5 targets. You really have to block all that out, and so that really resonated with me. And I remember going home that day, and I was watching YouTube videos of Dorothea Weir, who is an Italian biathlete and a really phenomenal athlete, multi-world champion, Olympic medalist. And I remember watching videos of her, and I said to myself, I want to be really good at this someday. I want to be just like her.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You got hooked.
I got hooked quick.
You did.
Yeah. So then I competed in my first
Not 2 weeks later.
No, not 2 weeks later. I competed in my first biathlon race that year at Winter Nationals in Montana. So I picked up the rifle for the first time in October, but then did my first race in March of 2021.
Oh my goodness.
And then from there, it kind of was a whirlwind.
It steamrolled.
I
snowballed.
Tried to make the Junior World Championships team the next year.
Came pretty darn close.
And yeah, unfortunately didn't make the team, which was a real bummer. And I was also feeling a bit of a timer because the junior age category ends at age 21, and I was 20.
Wow.
And so I knew I had only one more year to qualify. And then last year, I was planning on going to Alaska for Junior World Trials in end of December, but at the beginning of December, they have Senior International Team Trials, which is for IBU Cup and World Cup teams in Craftsbury. And I was going to school at St. Michael's College at the time, and I figured, hey, I'll just jump into these races. They'll be good practice for junior trials, which is really the race that matters to me the most. I'll just jump in, and it'll be good practice. And I did the first sprint race, and you have to walk up to somebody at the end of the race to find your place because they were drug testing the top 3 athletes that day.
Oh my goodness.
And I walk up and I go, Grace Castonguay, like, what's my place? And they say, Grace Castonguay, first place. Sorry, you've got to go get drug tested now. And my jaw dropped.
Oh, mine just did.
Because I had not had really any success at the sport at that time. Like, it's really a learning curve, learning all the technical movements and then also learning to quiet your mind. So I hadn't had any like races that good before, and so when they told me that, I was like, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" And
what day is this? April 1st?
Yeah, my drug tester chaperone was like, because I kept saying how surprised I was. She was like, "Are you sure you're Grace Castonguay? Like, you're worrying me that I have the wrong person." I was like, "No, I am. I just don't believe that I won this race." Especially against senior level athletes who were all older than 22.
Were you feeling good that day? You felt like you did okay, or?
I'd shot really well. I'd shot the best I ever had in a race. I went
good.
90%, so I only had 1 miss out of 10 targets.
Phenomenal.
And I think that my ski training had just really fallen into place. I'd had a really good summer of training with the Soldier Hollow summer program, and then a great fall with the St. Michael's College Nordic team. And yeah, it all just kind of came together. So at the end of that weekend, I had qualified for my first international races, and not only as a junior, but in the senior level division. So a whole division above me.
Oh my word.
And from there, it was a mad rush to figure out, okay, how am I going to finish my college classes, because I was a junior in college,
and
travel the world for the next 3 months and ski race.
And your passport was updated, I hope?
Passport was updated. We got it updated that spring, or that prior summer. We had didn't know that it was going to be that necessary, but yeah, it was a whirlwind. But luckily I had really supportive teachers that understood, and I'm a pretty proactive student, so I just kept up with my email and kept up with the work the best I could, and did school from the road for
Oh my God.
the entire winter.
Oh my word. And then coming into this winter, I mean, you got invited to the senior camp. You guys went, was it in Finland?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 weeks in Finland, and then from there, you're skiing World Cups.
Yeah, this season was also really insane because this summer I actually got a stress fracture in my fibula from running.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Grace, my gosh.
So I spent, couldn't ski or run roller ski. We
Yeah.
roller ski in the summer, and this is kind of the closest thing that we have to.
Does it simulate
Yeah, so we
skiing
can do
pretty
the
well?
skiing motion pretty well. They don't have brakes.
No break?
Yeah, no
How
brakes.
do you stop?
You don't.
You don't?
You jump into the field.
Oh, God.
But I couldn't roller ski, I couldn't run, and I just was cross training by myself on a bike or a ski erg for about 8
I
weeks.
was going to say 8 weeks of really not being
Yeah,
able to do
8
it.
weeks of just cross training, and then I only was really able to get back into fully normal training 2 weeks before Utah Senior National Trials,
Oh my
which
gosh.
were the big races that
Yeah,
would
the
qualify
huge
me
races.
for Finland. So I really did not know what I was going to get myself into for those races, just having not the summer of training that I wanted to. But somehow miraculously pulled it off.
You did.
And then 2 weeks later, I was on a plane to Finland
Yeah.
for the preseason World Cup selection camp.
Oh my God.
And then didn't have the World Cup was selected in Finland based on a time trial, and did
Just
not
missed
have
it?
the race I wanted. Shot pretty poorly. I think I was just really in my head. So that was okay. I got to go to the IBU Cup for the first weekend in Kontiolahti, Finland.
Yeah.
Put together a really phenomenal single mixed
Yes,
relay
you
with my
did.
teammate Vincent Bonacci. And then that afternoon, Vincent and I both got a call from our director of high performance that was said, all right, you're getting on a plane tomorrow morning and you guys are flying to Austria for the World Cup.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't know how I hate traveling to begin with, but I don't know how you do it.
You get pretty good at
Yeah.
it.
It's like, okay, I'm down with that. Let me call mom and dad and let them know I'm going.
Yeah. And well, I called my mom and my dad and I said, if there was ever a time that you guys wanted to come watch me race internationally, because they hadn't had a chance to,
Yeah.
I said, this would be it, because this is my World Cup
Yeah.
debut, which is a pretty huge
Oh
milestone.
my gosh, yeah.
And so my mom hopped on a plane, and she was actually there for my World Cup debut in Austria.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just storybook. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just,
it really
from the
was.
stress fracture, I mean, to the uncertainty of the season, and then to be there on the biggest stage, the very biggest stage.
Yeah, it was insane.
And you skied well, I thought.
Yeah, and the unfortunate thing actually about the 2 World Cups that I did before Christmas break was I was sick for both of them, and so I was like, you're kidding me.
Yeah.
I have to be sick for the biggest moment of my life.
Yeah.
But I pulled together enough health to race. They were not the races that I wanted, and especially because it's just a whole new environment that you have to get used to. The crowds are insane.
I can't imagine.
I was in the range, the starting area, and it's just so loud. You can't even hear yourself talk.
Really?
And I remember talking to our team physio, and I'm like yelling at him. I'm like, I can't hear anything. Yeah, but actually I could hear my mom cheering for me.
Could you
when I
really?
was going by. Despite all the crowds, I could hear my
No
mom cheering
way.
for me the loudest, so that was really special.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
super special. I mean, just to be there on the biggest stage, and then you culminate the season, you become the very first collegiate national champion in the sport. I mean, that just, it's another great chapter in your book.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, and that was really special because college skiing has been a really big part of my biathlon career, my
Yeah.
biathlon story. And not only being a college athlete, but being a college student has been a really interesting aspect to navigate over the last 2 years, because a
Yeah.
lot of my teammates and my competitors are not juggling full-time training and ski racing with a full-time college course load. So it was a really nice way to commemorate kind of the culmination of my efforts over the last
Oh my gosh,
4
yeah.
years. of being a college student.
Whew, it's just a phenomenal journey. And then you were also second in the senior division in the sprint, right? So
Yeah,
great result there.
And the pursuit.
And the pursuit, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just phenomenal results there.
Yeah, those races were really fun. It's always a great time to have all of U.S. Biathlon together in one place, and it was just a good way to end the season.
Yeah, and I saw those results, and I'm thinking, oh, we're going upward. We're going upward. Next year, bring on next year.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So we're going to get to some photos. We're going to take you down memory lane a little bit.
Oh, awesome.
I think we got some photos. If you can tell us what we're doing here.
Okay, so this is me at a Kennett high school race with my best friend Helen Badger.
Yeah.
She was kind of she was a big part of why I wanted to join Kennett, because I got to go to a couple of Kennett high school practices when I was still at Oyster River, and she was super welcoming and just really made me fall in love with the camaraderie within the sport. So.
And I think you went 1-2 in the state championships.
Yeah. Her and I went 1-2 at states, and that was a really special time for us.
Oh, it was great. I love that photo, you guys.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, another teammate photo. That's Shannon Derby.
Yeah, Shannon Derby. She went to Montana, I think, to school.
Yeah. And that's the crazy thing is, like, it's just really great to see where all of my teammates and friends have kind of ended up over the years.
Yeah.
Even if they haven't stayed in Nordic, it's just, these are connections that you make for
Absolutely.
a lifetime.
Is that you racing?
Yeah, I think this must have been...
The States, or?
No, not quite states, but maybe a home race.
Yeah, maybe Whitaker Woods.
I look like I'm kind of in pain.
Did you like skating or classical?
Back then, I really liked classic more.
Did you?
Yeah, it just fit in better with my cross-country roots, and I wasn't quite as skilled in skating then.
Is everything, in essence, skate now for you, or do you?
Well, it will be.
Will it?
Now that I'm done, I really have. Classic skiing has been a love-hate relationship with college skiing this last few years, but now it's mostly skate, but definitely still incorporate classic, because as my coaches will say, that skating is classic skiing is the fundamentals of good skating.
Oh gosh,
so
really?
yeah. Have to do it once in a while.
You do?
Yeah.
And then you won an award. You were
Yes.
the New Hampshire winner of the New Hampshire Athletic Directors Association and New Hampshire Interscholastic Athletic Association essay contest winner.
Yes.
And your essay is just absolutely phenomenal. And every time I read it, I tear up, Grace. So I'm not going to read the whole thing here, but I think you said here, I tacked on Nordic after the end of a brief indoor track season, and it was the best decision of my life.
Absolutely. Even more so now, yeah. I think that essay was about skiing, and it was about my transition to skiing.
Yeah.
And how important that was for me, just in terms of falling in love with sport and celebrating like the movement that my body can do and the atmosphere and the culture of Nordic skiing.
Yeah. I was finally surrounded by other female athletes that looked like myself. The skiing community celebrated muscles and power and strength, as well as speed and technique. I met good people through it too, people that encouraged me and celebrated my success with me, and for me, instead of sizing me up as a threat. I began to embrace my strengths and finally just let my legs be what they were meant to be. They could carry me up hills through training camps and hours of long skis. Well said. And then you kind of concluded by saying, skiing is the reason I spent my summer training 10 hours a week, attending ski camps with intimidatingly scary Olympic Russian coaches, skinning my knees over and over and performing multiple maximum heart rate tests, while other 17-year-olds spent a good portion of their day in bed or at the beach.
Yeah. I was actually just rereading that article the
Were you
other
really?
day,
Oh,
and
geez.
I saw that I wrote 10 hours a week training, and I kind of chuckled to myself, because 10 hours of training now for me is like an easy week.
Yeah,
and I was
say.
like, oh, wow, I had so far to go, so much to learn.
Are you doing 30, 40 hours a week, or?
Closer to 20 to 23
really?
hours a week, yeah.
Oh my
which
gosh.
gets end with 1 day off a week, so it gets to be kind of exhausting by the end of a training cycle.
5 hours a day almost. You're doing some sort
Yeah.
of cardio, or are you either on these, or just in the gym, or?
Yeah, training for me looks like, well, in the winter it's mostly skiing on these, and then time spent in the gym working on strength and explosivity. And then the summer, what we're about to come up into is a lot of time spent on my roller skis, a lot of time in the gym, and then we do a lot of cross training, and I love that about skiing because it makes you a really diverse, well-rounded athlete. So a lot of mountain running, hiking, mountain biking, cycling, and then all of that is in conjunction with, it doesn't even factor in the amount of time that we spend just working on shooting. We'll spend an hour to 2 hours a day.
Will you really?
Working on dry fire, which is using your rifle without loading live rounds in it. It's just kind of getting the movement. Or then sometimes we'll have shooting practice 2 to 3 times a week.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot.
Yeah. And then you got to recover and eat and sleep and all between that.
Yeah, my gosh.
So it's a full-time job.
It is.
For sure.
It is a full-time job. And
yes.
is this signing day?
Yes, this is when I signed my national letter of intent.
During COVID?
This was actually the year after COVID.
Post-COVID?
I was at University of Vermont, and I had made the decision that I wanted to ski collegiately. I met with Molly Peters, the St. Michael's Nordic ski coach, and she offered me a spot and a scholarship. And so here's me in the UVM library basement signing my national letter of intent. It wasn't as glamorous as a lot of other people's, because I know in high school, lots of people they get the big fanfare, and they've got their coaches and their friends and family around signing, and I was just in the UVM basement, but
I love it,
nonetheless.
And that's you. That's perfect. And then
this was this was one of my first races at Craftsbury. This was a year prior to me qualifying for any races.
I think your mom took the photo.
Yeah.
I really like black and white photos.
And I remember I did pretty bad at this race.
You did? Oh, great.
Yeah, I did pretty bad at this race, but it was my first year still in doing biathlon.
Yeah.
And so, course, par for the course.
Absolutely. Every day is a learning lesson. And
here's Sean.
Sean and Theo. Yeah.
Yes. Theo has been an amazing training partner, brother, and friend to me.
He's just really a great guy.
Yeah, he's been so motivating and so welcoming of me joining his sport. He was in it first.
And Sean, have you got to meet him a little bit?
Yeah, Sean and I, we've had dinner quite a bit together because we're friends now. I'm friends with his girlfriend, Tara, who was also the ski jumping world champion for a long time.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, yes, here
US
we have
Biathlon?
nationals.
Nationals.
Yes. U.S. Nationals. I think that was maybe last year at trials when I qualified for my first races.
I think it was.
Yeah.
And then I like this shot a lot.
Yes. Here's Shoots and Ski Festival, or also known as U.S. Senior National Team Trials. And this was 2 weeks after I had been fully cleared to ski after my stress fracture.
Oh my God. Which leg was it that you fractured?
It was my right leg.
Oh my gosh.
So, and Summer Nationals, I think I did pretty bad at this race too. Summer Nationals for a long time was a cursed race for me because I'd always dirty, which is when you hit no targets and you have to do 5 penalty laps.
Oh my God.
But that was, part of my learning curve of
absolutely.
You got to fail quite a lot before you succeed.
I think you do. I truly think you do.
Yeah. And these were my first nationals races.
Were they really?
This was my first biathlon races ever. So I was still, I was a freshman in college, first winter biathlon races, and I'm wearing a hand-me-down suit that I think was Leif Norgren's.
Really?
That he gifted to Theo, and we brought it to a local tailor to make it smaller because it obviously was built for a 6-foot man and not me, who's a 5-foot female. So wearing a hand-me-down suit, Junior Athlete of the Year.
Yeah, I love that when it came out. I was so psyched.
Yeah, that was really exciting. That was after a culmination of really good races.
Yeah, Max is enjoying success like you, which is good.
Yeah, Maxime will be my teammate this year. Great kid, great teammate. So super special to share that with him.
Oh yeah. Then we had little sun cartoon.
I love this. Yes, this is so great.
Yeah, we were so psyched. Everyone was here at the paper was like, "Oh, that's perfect cartoon."
I love it. I never thought I would be a cartoon character.
And then your mom took this photo. I just think it embodies everything from the journey.
Yeah, this was right before I went to Finland for preseason World Cup selection camp.
Yeah, you look as proud as punch.
Proud as punch, and had no idea of where this season was going to take me.
Yeah, I know.
Just excited to be getting on a plane to go to snow.
Absolutely. And then I love your selfie.
Yeah, this was my first...
training, was it?
First training at my first international races in Slovakia.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
in Slovakia, and it was not a very pretty course. There was not a ton of snow. You can see the grass in
No,
the
it
background.
looked like they might have had to bring some
Yeah,
in.
but I was just thrilled to be skiing in Europe. Thought it was so
Yeah,
cool.
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
And then this was international World
Yeah,
Cup, right?
this was my World Cup debut, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, actually this was Lenzerheide. So this is where I had my World Cup personal best.
Oh, good.
Hopefully still more to come.
Oh, I think a lot
But
more to come.
Yeah, really special race. I got to actually one of my biggest heroes in this sport is Ingrid Tangervold, who is a Norwegian biathlete, and she's also a lefty, which is why I adore her so much. But it kind of worked out timing-wise because biathlon is a lot of the time it's a staggered start, so you're starting at different times and then they just kind of clock you. And there was the stars aligned, and Ingrid came out of the range as I was starting my race, and so I got to ski about half of a lap behind my hero.
Oh
and
my
I
gosh,
actually,
I can't imagine what
I
that'd
even
be like.
overtook her on the downhills on the skis, which meant that my skis were running faster than hers. So the wax techs were super pumped after that race.
Oh
They were
my
like,
gosh.
"We saw you overtake Tangervold on the downhills, like way to go."
What a memory, though. I mean, what a
Yeah.
moment.
And that was super cool, just to be skiing behind my hero.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. And does that instill in you a little confidence that, I mean, the sky's the limit for you?
Yeah, totally. It's really, I mean, after the national team naming, it was really exciting because it just felt like there was finally other coaches behind me that were recognizing my potential. And, you know, you have to believe in yourself a whole lot, but it certainly makes it easier when other people rally around you. And I can really attribute a lot of my motivation over the last couple of years from my family. My parents and my brother have been really supportive, and then also just the Valley, you.
Oh, you're so easy to root for.
The Mount Washington Valley has been so supportive, and it makes me really excited to come home every time I get a short break from world traveling.
And we got to mention sponsors. Sponsors are a critical part of this. So who are some of your sponsors that we should give a shout out to?
Definitely, yeah. Biathlon is definitely a career that you do for the passion, not quite for the money. But I'm really fortunate to be partnered with Solomon. They provide really good skis for me. And then my hydration partner, Plink, is a wonderful hydration additive, makes plain water a lot more fun to drink and great for me as an athlete because I got to drink water. But yeah, I'm always looking for new sponsors.
Absolutely.
I have lots of advertising room on my rifle for
let's
anyone
get on
who's
it, folks.
interested. But yeah, because even being on the national team, we still have to self-pay and fund a lot of our trips and our flights. So yeah.
What's the best way, Grace, for people to follow you? I mean, you got a fan club here.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. People can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram's @grace.castonguay. And then I also have a website, which is just gracecastonguay.com. And you can follow my journey, see my whereabouts. Friends and family are always asking, where's Grace right now? Is she in Europe or US or what's not? So you can find me at gracecastonguay.com or my Instagram, grace.castonguay.
And Summer Olympics are coming up about 74 days away as we count here on a Wednesday. And that means Winter Olympics aren't too far away. And looking at the calendar, the stars are starting to align for maybe that's not out of the realm of possibility for you.
Yeah, 2026 was kind of a lofty goal when I first started biathlon, but the vote of confidence from being named to the national team and just the plethora of development resources that I'm hopefully going to get this coming year makes it feel like 2026 Milano Cortina could really be in the cards, which is super exciting.
Oh my gosh.
But just got to enjoy every minute up to it because it's really about the journey.
Oh God, if the Sun could send me there to cover it, that'd be pretty good.
Yeah, that could be pretty nice.
I know. But I mean, just so many good things, and we exceeded half an hour pretty darn quickly, so I greatly appreciate you coming in, and you've got an open invitation here, and there's no bigger fans than me and the folks here at the paper. So
thank you.
Grace, thank you so much for coming in, and congratulations on all you've accomplished, and far more to come. It's going to be so much fun to follow you over the next 10, 15 years. Your career's just getting started.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been great to be here.
Sky's the limit. So for Lloyd Jones, Grace Castonguay, Rob Struble, our multi-talented mega everything here in the studio, thanks for watching In the Press Box, and follow Grace because she's the best.
Thank you.